The PL Show is brought to you by Kel Chaco, Kel 360, and Kel Kids Toothpaste. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition. Every time we have to be on the PL Show, it's an exciting time because we get to celebrate phenomenal ladies who are making all kinds of strides. Today is an artistic show, and of course you can tell by my outfit today, all colorful, by Kafui Clothing. The head of artistic film department of NAFTI is my guest. She's also the co-founder of Benpali Film Festival. It's a good time to tell your friends about it. You can also follow us live on YouTube and all our social media platforms. It's always brought to you by Kel 360, Kel Chaco, and Kel Kids Toothpaste. I am Oheneasah Apawu, and this is the Kel Toothpaste PO Show.
Mommy.
Mama Josie. Fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Chaco Toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chaco Toothpaste, Sankofa,
Yenchi, Kel Chaco Toothpaste.
happy smile.
Welcome back to the Kel Toothpaste PL Show. And like I said, today is an artistic show. I'll start with the head of Film Artistic Department of NAFTI. She's also the co-founder of Benpali Young Filmmakers Festival. She's the intelligent, articulate, artistic, talented, versatile Dr. Rebecca Oheneasah Hesse. Let's welcome her. I think it's a good time to give her a round of applause and welcome her.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
The same
Today
here.
I'm very excited. Oheneasah is very interesting. Is it Ohene's dance or Ohene is finished? What exactly is it?
So Oheneasah, it actually belongs to one of the royal families in Ekropong. My auntie is actually the Queen Mother of Okwapemang. So you can imagine, I mean, that is where it is coming from. Well, I haven't found out any strong meaning to the name, but you know, my grandfather, he was a royal. He could have become the Omahine, but he was a Presbyterian minister, and so I know he never became, you know, the Omahine. But yeah, that's just it.
Let's talk about childhood Rebecca.
I was born in Tamale Hospital. Yes. At that time, my mother was teaching in Salaga. I grew up mainly in Tema, but before Tema, I lived in Kibi until I was about 8 years old, and then I moved to Tema. And I lived in Tema, you know, almost my whole life until I got married, and then I now live in Accra.
What about your background would you say has informed the kind of person you are today?
I remember growing up and my father had run into exile, and so growing up he wasn't around, but there were other people who stood up and were like the father figures in my life. My mother comes from Wa.
Okay.
In the Upper West region.
My
so
favorite region, by the way, apart from Volta region.
I see.
Yes.
So I'm from Wa, you know, and then I'm also from Ekropong, you know, so it's a very interesting mix. What I realize is that I like to get to know people. I celebrate diversity. I like to, you know, look at everybody and imagine that they are beautiful, they are great, wherever they are coming from. And I think it is just this mixture. So sometimes, you know, I'll be with somebody and I'll speak Wali or I'll speak Hausa, I'll speak all these, and they're like, how do you, you know? And then I'm able to switch and then also speak Ekuapem. So I guess my background has only made me, tolerant to other people. Whenever I hear people maybe say derogatory things about other people from other parts of the country, I'm like, it's because they don't know, So I think the way I grew up, made me aware that I'm not the only person in the world, and that there are other people, other cultures, and they are as beautiful as, as I think I am.
I see you haven't picked up ever yet.
Not yet.
I'll volunteer to take
Please
you through
teach
that.
me.
Because once you speak ever, you can speak any language
You're
in
right.
the world. Well, it takes us to the Seed to Oak segment. It is always brought to you by the Kel Kids Toothpaste, making brushing for our children 2 to 6 years easier than it used to be. Is strawberry flavored, so it makes it easy for them to brush their teeth twice a day to prevent every dental cavity, amongst others. It's also FDA approved and is safe for the children to use.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel Kids Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. It makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids. Happy smile.
Well, so that's the dada buying you. Well, nice picture there. Let's zoom straight into adult life, because you've taken me through growing up in the background. I'm told you're a very strict lecturer.
I am. I mean, when it's time to play, we also try to play. I'm fortunate to be teaching adults, and I always keep it at the back of my mind that as soon as they leave the space, they are my colleagues. And so, yes, you have to be strict, but you also have to, use a lot of social engineering skills so that they don't complete school and then they think that you're some kind of a tyrant, because it's a very small industry. And, I would sometimes have my students call me, former students call me, oh, can you do this with me? Like they hire you. So it's important to, balance what we do.
What about film and TV production, would you say, has kept you in the industry all these years?
I am more of a documentary filmmaker. A long time ago, I made a decision to spend most of my time, my energies, exploring people's lives in documentary filmmaking. So that's what I mostly do. I've done a lot of corporate stuff for people. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to, make a lot of films from my own, point of view, because if it's a corporate film, mostly it is, a lot is determined by who is sponsoring it, like who is asked you to do it. Funding is a challenge, and it's made it difficult for me to, initiate my own projects and then, do them. But whenever I have to work on some of these, corporate videos, I still try to bring a bit of myself into it.
The issue about funding raises the question about whether as a country or as a society, we're paying a lot of attention to the creative industry, you'd say.
We are not. We are not. There's so much potential in the industry, but unfortunately, we are in a country where we haven't been able to implement policies that can, ensure that the right kind of attention is given to the creative arts, to the heritage industry, the culture industry, and all that. The good thing is that in recent years, I've been fortunate to, be part of a committee that has worked on a number of policies. We have a film law now, which has translated into the establishment of the National Film Authority, and it's still in its teething, stages. But the expectation is that there's going to be the establishment of a fund that some people can access, and then tell stories that are important to us as a country.
It looks like now we're getting a lot more female venturing into that industry, but is it enough since you are in there?
It's not enough. It's not enough, but it is encouraging, because if you look at where we've come from and where we want to get to. Recently, I was working on this article where I call it the Women of GFIC. It was inspired by the fact that when I read anything on the GFIC, which is like, the very first film production organization in the country, you only pick up the male names. Where were the women? Were there women there? Those are some of the questions that I have been asking. You can't talk about, films in Ghana without mentioning Shirley Frimpong Manso, for instance, or even Leila Jansi. They are competing so wonderfully with
but is it a level playing field?
It is not. It is not. And it goes back to the funding thing. Most of these women will have to, look for their own funds. It's a tough world out there, and it is not. It is not, but kudos to them.
Let me do a quick turnaround, and this time it's a 360-10 brought to you by Kel 360, and that's the minty flavor. It gives that fresh breath all day. It's safe for the entire family use, also FDA approved, and gives you that happy smile. Dr. Rebecca Oheneasah Hesse in 360.
Since 2004, Dr. Rebecca has lectured at the National Film and Television Institute in Accra, teaching various courses in film history, documentary film studies and production, as well as supervised student practical exercises. She's the co-founder and director of Benpali Young Filmmakers Festival, which has mentored young people and showcased film and videos they create under the broad theme of stories that matter.
Dr. Rebecca is more of a mother figure in my life. I met her in Kaokudi for a workshop program, LSW. They took us through how to make films. She was an immense help to us, all of the girls participating in the workshop.
I think we take off from Benpali. It's very interesting. Tell us a bit more about it.
Benpali is a platform that a colleague of mine, Susan Wilcox, and I, as well as other colleagues, created in 2005. We wanted some kind of a platform that could allow young people in this country and also in the diaspora to showcase their artistic prowess, but not just to showcase this in a vacuum, but to showcase this within the context of heritage, within the context of the things that are important to them and the things that connect with who we are as a people. Basically, what we do is to invite young people to bring the films that they have made, but we also bring experts in the industry to come and, train some of these young people, because the interesting thing about Benpali is that it's for both trained and non-trained filmmakers. So you don't need to have made any film before.
As the focus is on a particular gender?
It doesn't.
Okay.
We operate from a company called Firebeats. And Firebeats, most of the members are actually women. Okay. And so we've done a lot of things that have, tailored towards, the female gender. For instance, 2 years ago, we launched a project called Liberating Stories of Women, LSW. Now, it's LSW that Saratu was talking about. where we trained young women in communities that are plagued with violent situations, sexual abuse, and all sort of abuse towards women. We launched it in 3 communities, and these were Nima, Jamestown, and Choco. So we did this, and we trained these young women how to tell stories from their own perspectives using mobile phones. So, a lot of the things that we have done have tried to give some kind of a chance for women to open up and tell the stories that matter to them.
You've done a lot of research work. Notable amongst them, I think, is the audiovisual heritage preservation, and then issues about archives and records. That's key for us. It looks like we have a lot that has been done over the period, but we can't trace it. Let's talk a bit about it.
Any human being without a history, really, if you don't know where you're coming from, you definitely will not know where you're going. And so when you think about audiovisuals, even what we are doing here, it's some kind of a record. And so you look back, and it will be great to know where you've come from. The place of our audiovisual archives, it's so important. I mean, it's super important to who we are as a country. But we have a country where if you are a producer and you're making a film and you need any archival materials on Ghana, what happened maybe in the 60s, 70s, you probably will not find us here. As a country, we have a lot of these materials, and in the past we have destroyed some because we have a strong lack of maintenance. So we keep the materials and they decay, and the next thing we have to do is to just burn them. So that has been, the practice. When you go to most of our agencies, organizations that are supposed to be keeping these things, most of them are badly kept. Some of the research, I have conducted have unearthed the fact that some of these materials are still in the UK, and there is the need for us to repatriate some of these, even some of the materials. There's the need for us to have reparation, because some of them, they were produced, by the colonial government, but they belong to us. So it is important that they are returned to us, and then some compensation even given to us as a country. So that's where we are now. And with the establishment of the National Film Authority, we are hoping that, these materials in London will receive the needed attention.
So, but do you think that we have hope in terms of being able to keep what is produced here in terms of our archives and records? You think the National Film Authority will be the be-it-all, end-it-all to that?
The law that establishes the National Film Authority gives them the mandate to be responsible for these things. So I'm hoping that they will be given the necessary support, because it's usually about money. You cannot go pick materials and come and put them in Ghana, and there's no conducive storage environment. They will all destroy. So they have to be resourced, but they have the mandate to be able to keep these things. For those materials that have been created since the emergence of video, there could be hope. If you produce something, don't just throw it away. Even the little things that you're filming of your family, your children, when they were born and then all that, it's important for you to, find a way to digitize these things. And then maybe you buy a little cloud somewhere, you put it in there, so that one day your legacy, will live on through these images.
Artistic Film Department, NAFTI, I'll take you back to the lecture hall. What does it entail?
Film Artistics consists of the film directing unit, the television production unit, the animation unit, and the design unit. So these 4 units come together to make Film Artistics. So basically, we are responsible for all the conceptualization and ideation, that would happen before we see anything as the end product of anything. So that's what we do. Of course, you have to work with other departments. So you have like the film technique, which consists of like the cinematography, the sound, and then the editing. So we work hand in hand.
How old is too old, you would say, to, get trained in film artistics, for instance? I ask that because we get people thinking that, okay, that's the easy way out in terms of education or, to fame, I should say. So that's why I'm asking, how old is too old to be trained?
There's no old, there's no age limit. Film is a creative space. I know people who never even went to film school who are doing great things. But there's one thing that film school does for you. It initiates you into the environment, the industry. It initiates you into the theory behind why you're doing some of the things that you're doing. So most of if you don't go to film school, yes, you can make commendable stuff, but it gets to a point where somebody might ask you the reason why you're making, certain artistic pieces, and mostly it becomes difficult for you to articulate why you're actually doing those. And that is where, film school comes in. We ground you. And so everything that you're doing becomes very purposeful, but there's no age limit.
Navigating this terrain all these years, what would you say has been the highs and the lows?
There's been mostly highs. That's not to say that there haven't been lows, but anytime there were lows, I've always had, a very strong backing, my family, my husband, my mothers, my sisters. Everybody has been there to support. Like when I was studying, for instance, everybody knew that, oh, she's busy. And so the kids are taken care of, Other things are done for me. I didn't have to worry so much about having to do this and do that. But of course, there are things that you have to do by yourself. I like to just do some of the things by myself because my kids were still very young. They're still young. And you need to be there in their lives, to ensure that they don't forget you. Because if you are not there, they grow up and they grow so fast. So by the time you realize they've gone to secondary school and university and it's gone. So yeah. There's been a lot of highs. The lows have been mitigated.
Well, for those who would be looking up to you, for instance, wanting to learn a lot from you, you have had a lot of support. There are those who don't have that kind of support. How would you say they should hold up in spite of the inadequate support that would be available to them?
MFA, there's always help around. Sometimes, we don't trust people. Sometimes we don't trust the people who may be able to assist to raise our kids. Find some trust in some people. If your mother is around, if she's alive, let her help you. If she's available, let her help you. If you don't have any of those people, find trust in somebody and believe that they would assist you, and they will. Most people do. There are times that you find, people don't do it the way you want it to go, but you need to have that trust. And once you trust those people, most likely they also reciprocate, and it becomes a little easier.
One of such help, those who provided you that kind of support and help over the period. Who is Alexander?
Oh, Alex. Oh, it's my brother.
Okay.
My relationship with Dr. Becky, who is my elder sister, is probably one of the strongest relationships that I have today. She is an incredible elder sister and an inspiration to the younger ones in the family.
I've known Dr. Hesse since I think I left NAFTI 98 and she came in just at the same year that I was just leaving. And she's a very affable person. And we happen to be in the same department. She's not the head of department, so she's basically my boss. But we gel so much because it's more like a younger sister to me. She's somebody who strives for excellence, and I appreciate her for that.
Rebecca is an amazing person. I have known her for years. And within these years, I have experienced what a good person is inside and out. Rebecca is one of the people who has shaped my academic career and my growth as a mother in so many ways, and I'm grateful for that. She is determined that we all sit at that table and be celebrated, and I love that about you, Rebecca. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being in my corner.
My sister will pick up plates after we finished eating food prepared by her, to go and wash. This to me is a true mark of humility. We are proud and grateful to God for you and hope that you keep going. We love you. I love you. And I miss you. Bye.
Some nice words there. What would you say is a relationship, for instance?
I'm not surprised that Alex is the eldest. I mean, I'm older than him. But yeah, his sentiments are, they cut across. It's coming from all of them, and I'm really appreciative.
In all this busy schedule, children, family, and all, you get to do things for yourself.
Yes, you have to. You have to. So in my house, almost all the women have locks. My 2 daughters, they also have locks, and mostly the loctician will come to the house maybe on every 3 months. But in between that, I try to do my own, palm rolling and styling, especially for my daughter, because her hair has to look a certain way, every time before she goes to school. So almost every week I have to, do some palm rolling and then fix that.
It takes us then to the DIY segment. Let's see what you do for yourself in spite of all the busy schedules, and that's brought to you by Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. There were days that we used to use the plantain peduncle and charcoal to get that white teeth. Now you don't have to go through all that stress. All you need to get is the Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. It has a charcoal in there. Activated charcoal gives you that same effect and is FDA approved, safe for the entire family. It's DIY.
Clarissa said to me, exactly. She's not smiling.
It's a good time for us to wrap up. We can't do that without that inspirational message to that young girl, that old woman that won't have to encounter you every day, but has to draw something from you. What would you tell them?
Do not be afraid to dream. Whatever you have a strong edge for, just go out there and believe that you can do it, and learn to be ready. Learn to be ready so that you prepare yourself so that when the opportunity comes, it will be yours.
Thank you very much. That's phenomenal lady, Dr. Rebecca Oheneasah Hesse, my guest for today on the PL Show. And it's a tradition here on the PL Show. We are proudly sponsored by Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. It's the Kel 360, Kel Charcoal, Kel Kids Toothpaste. And with Kel is always a happy smile. We have a beautiful package put together just for you, a phenomenal lady like you. So from us, we present this
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have the Sasso, and then the Roma insecticide spray, and we have the coil as well. And then also, phenomenal ladies like you always deserve a queenly, surprise. And this is to, there's a Sigwa here from Micropon. So this is from us to you. Anytime you see this, you know that indeed it's for phenomenal ladies like you, and you deserve rest. You deserve to be a queen as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Kel Toothpaste PL show here on your favorite channel. We're also live on all our social media platforms. Please make sure you follow us on YouTube as well, and keep us, and you'll be up to date with everything that we do here on the PL show. I am Emefa Apawu, and another exciting edition comes your way same time. Stay blessed.
Love is sweet, pass sobolo, sobolo, love is sweet, K-O-E-I, Odona Kama commemorate, paint, smile, mami chanche, faint, kron radio, saint, Pento kwa kasa ne complaint, they, they give me pressure, your love I no fit measure, I gold and diamond treasure, merci beaucoup, my pleasure. While I can't cash any